Hello, collective. This is your timeless reading where you might be coming across this reading because you're in search of emotional redemption. So please remember to take any messages that resonate with you, and as you leave the reading behind, also try to leave behind anything that doesn't fit the narrative of your soul journey. Please check out the description box below for any details or links on how to book a reading and or a healing session. I am a master healer, first of its kind of 𝗖𝘀𝗵𝗺. So please check out the description box below if you'd like any of those services, or also checking out the link to my sister channel. So we have the vengeance, overcoming slights, a choice, the poet, relationships, vulnerability, and the chiromancer, delivering news and collaboration. So some of you are taking healing very seriously. However, I believe that you would do more with some form of one-to-one mentorships of some kind, instead of kind of like lingering behind collective readings, or having your feed be nothing but collective readings and not something singularly carved out for you is what's missing at this time. Staying stuck, or not staying stuck, I wouldn't, well, yeah, it's a bit staying stuck, because if you're using the clickbait of going into different vortexes of collective readings or any other type of readers and get lost in that world, you might have a string of cord, like this cord here suggests, that ties everything together, and it makes sense. Like you may not have anything negative to say about any kind of reader. But the problem I see with being obsessed with tarot readings or tarot readers and actually not getting your hands onto tarot decks or getting into a development of attunement of universal energies, you are kind of being tossed within a vortex of a conversation that sounds good because it resonates with you, but you don't know how to jump out of it, which could be a problem. And you might see that being in that area of your life, you won't know until maybe months and years go by that you're like, I'm not really getting out of this pattern, but you've already begun the healing journey. So the question is, what is out there? And as someone who has uncovered what she has uncovered, I am living proof that there are energies outside of the modalities of Master Reiki attunement that will trigger other things and pretty much bring you into a form of realization that will take you out of this black hole or vortex that I feel the majority are all in. In my position, I see everybody in that, because no one really has, or not no one, but I don't have a sea of people that I heal with my teachings just yet. However, they're all great and they're all going well, and they're proof that there is something outside of the modalities that everybody else is discussing on that can bring rejuvenation, bring something new, and where you can take the old and intertwine it and it starts making sense. So there's a need to kind of understand where you are in the role of possibly dealing with cognitive dissonance at this time, because there's so many narratives to latch onto. If you're on the quest of emotional redemption, you're really diving deep into existential questions and having those questions not only answered, but making that answer feel an alignment with you. And while it is in an alignment with you, not only will you generate a natural purpose, but you will understand the rhythm you can have without needing to expedite anything or force yourself to slow down or go on vacation, because you understand what needs to be understood. And I think that's a journey that everyone should have a fair game to, that everyone should come with, learn about when you first take your breath and start venturing and mature over time as a human being once you come out of mother. And to return into that can be very difficult if you haven't had the chance, due to trauma, due to not knowing, to really take on that journey. So, I mean, I guess with all that, I say, again, check out the description box below if you feel safe and secure and you want to answer to something new. Check out the description box below. All right, well, ladies and gentlemen, if you're new to my channel, welcome. If you're returning, you may already know I don't like the Seven of Swords energy, okay? I'm not as brutal with this energy on this channel, the Seven of Swords, as I am with the other channel, the sister channel. Here I can understand in the energy of trying to define darkness, which means the absence of light, the energies when we're in that sector, when absence of light is around. Bastet, this channel, is a master of understanding deceptive energy. Why are we even going to be at all triggered by the injustices? Because it's just normal to understand that people have problems and people are vindictive and people are conniving and untrustworthy, and we always have to kind of like look over our shoulders, even with the people that we're the closest with to get some sort of stability and security in this life, which in the eyes of universe, looking upon and dealing and having humanity break the code of what paternal to child it is over and over and over with generations of time is a blasphemous act. So universe over time understood that there is a formula that we can get back to kind of make sense as to why the human journey is a very lonely journey and can be very detrimental to not only Earth, but all of life forms, for how politically unjust humanity can be, right? So whether it falls in people being short or curt or disgusting or have an attitude with you or conniving, or the system, or the government, or overall world politics, or conspiracy topics, whatever makes your life chaotic, or paying attention to the quote-unquote flaws is what makes the individual dance in the need to desire questions to be answered. And most often than not, when we hear the stories of prophets making their ways, of, you know, those financial investors who sold everything to kind of like go off grid and take healing seriously. There are books written about that. The guy that sold his Ferrari, I think that's the name of a book, is a story like that. And I think, I never read it, but book Motorcycle Diaries is coming out. I'm assuming it's going to have some sort of same quest, or whether it's, you know, just there's also, oh, the monk who sold his Ferrari. I think that's the name of the book. And other just stories, whether it's also in religious ideologies, as I'm hearing that, you know, Jesus has went on his venture and has healing, or, you know, even for Reiki, Master 𝗖𝘀𝗵𝗺𝗺 went on a healing for 21 days and got his teachings and paid that forward to all his students and all that jazz. So there is already things out there trying to expose that people have gotten rid of everything to try to not only decompress, but make sense and understand what they can understand without having any time limitations of time. You know, corporate America always, or corporate anything, will allow you to only think like things with due dates, things that need to be done. You're always being watched. You're always either answering to someone or answering answering to someone or needing someone to answer to you. So there's a constant push and pull of time being an issue. And once you get to points of life where your journey of life is maybe about learning how to sacrifice, it's about trying to understand where in life you might be deceived and why in organic life that you consciously maybe first would say, I don't really have a clear answer as to why I chose this life, but now that I'm here and I'm living and breathing and I have access to be part of it, shouldn't it come with a level of sovereignty that I am allowed to have? I shouldn't have to work so much to be able to breathe. I shouldn't be able to work so much to eat. I shouldn't be able to have to or need to work so much in order to have a restful sleep. So there are issues that fall into being a citizen of the system, and then there's quarrels to not having a definitive relationship to Earth, that of which we all share. So whether you believe through that in theology or religion or indoctrination of any kind, remove all that, you're still going to be left with living and breathing through the skin that you own, and need to be humbled that no words can really define the exactitude of your life. It's about the expression of what you desire and the silence that you keep in order to acquire what it is that you want. So a lot of you are starting your journey slowly but surely, especially if you're here listening to this reading more or less. Yeah, you're already starting your journey of joy, all right? It's not happiness, because happiness is still kind of tied on with a need to hold on to it, and you realize that it has an expiration date because you just can't hold on for it too long. It requires so much energy. But if you develop joy in your life, you understand it's an access point that just requires a little bit of fine-tuning. And usually that fine-tuning isn't about being bigger or more or doing a lot more. It's about slowing down, taking a breath, having a nap, chilling, vacation maybe, and just relaxing, taking your time with yourself and not dealing with all the distractions of technology that, you're just bombarded by the moment you just close your eyes or open your eyes in this world nowadays, okay? You have technology everywhere, from 5G towers to your phone, to your computer, to your multiple screens for your video game. Like, there's technology all over you. And to think that doesn't affect your overall psychological well-being or not, and also ethereal well-being, would be silly. It would just be silly to think that it cannot affect you. All right, you're affected by seeing negative things possibly done by other people. If you see a fight across the street, you might be affected. If you see chaos on the news happening across the street or across the street, I don't know, whatever, but across the globe, across the sea, you might be affected. So there is no getting away from this natural rhythm that's out there. So it would be wise to tap into that and go as basic as possible, and then intertwine all the things that made you kind of have to accept things, then be intertwined into that. That's cognitive dissonance. All right, letting go of cognitive dissonance and then allowing the age of reason, the age of truth for yourself to be let go and caught for yourself, so that you can be devoted to yourself. You can trust yourself. You can build a relationship with yourself, codependent from the system, codependent on the need that you need to be attached to a thing to be able to survive in this world. You came in alone, you will be leaving alone. And that's how powerful life of healing, life of living, life of expression, life of fun should always be. Life of living, life of fun, here with the Lover's energy. All right, there's so many dialogues going on about how chaotic life is, masculine this, feminine is that, what is what, gender identity issues. There's so many issues for when we grow up, but ultimately what we all carry is to understand our a childlike innocence when we tap into ourselves when we grow up, all right? But in sheer vulnerability or sheer nakedness will we be left with the highest form of sensory download possible, because we have allowed ourselves to be. This beautiful energy of love in its defined ways, okay? There's a lot of hardened energies. There's a lot of people here in this room who will just not, they will not put up with shit, all right? You're more giving me you are fighting for the people, all right, which is beautiful. Even if you are in the corporate setting of any kind, you're seeing the kinks and the problems, and you want to be able to keep both feet in a situation, which I think is the smartest thing that you can do, because to stay in the system is to understand, to utilize the resources and the network capacities that it has. However, you don't allow the system to answer any of those questions for you. You basically give it direct notice of what you need answered, and then the system would spit that out. That's how to make the system work in your favor, and you not being, again, controlled by the system, but you also maintaining your path of sovereignty and using all the networks, all the resources that life has, and its all sorts of complexities that we can't get rid of by a snap of a finger, to your benefit. That's how you understand that love, for as controversial as it is, as blasphemous that it can be, how betraying it can be, how people can cheat on you in front of your back and behind your back, how family can easily cut the ties of responsibility with you. It makes it easier to accept that those are the conditions that some people believe love needs to be met with in order for you to feel that love is actually unconditional. And it's a choice whether or not you're available, or you can show up, or you have to say no to individuals. Once you have those three things really understood, you feel more secure and at peace with the things that come in your way, the things that you protect, the things that you have to fight for, and overall a healthier perspective of life that, again, we can all surmise will have its highs and its lows. So yeah, you're being tested at this time to really challenge your ego, to be aware of deceptive energy. Part of that is to also be aware of what things you would never want to have done onto you, and that you would also never do onto other people. Because your pride just won't let that happen, okay? There's a need to kind of go on a little bit of a symbolism quest, so like see if you can, I don't know, there are like books out there that about symbols and symbolism, and just kind of like browse through them randomly, see what kind of intrigues you, maybe do a little bit of quote-unquote research, but see what you remember, see what you feel, because I feel like someone needs to tap into their third eye a bit more. I feel like I'm hearing that someone's recently gone to confession, or like a confession of some kind, and it hasn't really helped them out. There's certain resources this person doesn't feel like they're being met with. So if this resonates, please reach out. You can definitely reach out to me. There's a person that feels a bit lonely, outcasted. Yeah, like Not overrun and exhausted, though. Not overrun and exhausted. It's more of like, it's exhaustive. And existential living is exhaustive. But you wouldn't ask for anything any other way. You more or less understand your purpose and your path of direction. You just want to clear out the mess, or you want to learn how to let go of some of the mess so that you can maybe have a better emotional relationship with people, for sure. Maybe you're also on a trajectory of letting go, of having to be forced to let go of certain people that you thought were going to be there for a long time, but it's a relative term in understanding energy, because when you're actually sharing space with these individuals, they're draining you. And to have to replenish that is even more exhausting if you're in the same space than just separating yourselves, putting distance in between you and these individuals or in this environment so you can replenish. All right, collectives, that is all that I have for you. I ask again if you check out the description box below for any of my services. Either way, I'm wishing you a wonderful morning, noon, or night, wherever you are in the ether of this time and space. May you keep flowing, growing, and glowing. Take care.